Welcome to video 24. Before I continue working on the cart object, I realize that I have three things that I still have left to do. Two things are sort of bug fixes, little things that I noticed that I should have talked about earlier, so I'll catch them now. And the other thing is just adding some additional functionality to something we already put in place. So the two bug fixes, I noticed first of all, we are missing our category navigation up at the top of this page. And secondly, if you actually add an alert to the page, you'll notice it isn't styled nicely, and I know I have that CSS in place. So let's fix the CSS issue first. I'm going to open up vPublicCart, and I'm going to fix this unordered list to have a class alerts, like so. I'm going to copy this line, save this file, go to vPublicHome, and do the same thing. And that'll make sure that our CSS works properly. The next thing that I want to do is I want to put that category navigation in place. So I'm going to open up home.php, or excuse me, index.php, and I'm going to find the category navigation down here at the bottom of the file. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to open up cart.php, and at the bottom of the file, just before we load the view, I'm going to paste that in. And I'm not going to use the home active state, I'm just going to leave it blank because we don't want any of the items in that navigation to be highlighted as the active one. So I'll save that. There we go, so the navigation's in place properly and our styling is in place as I expect it to be. The only other thing that I want to do is you'll notice that in the previous video we talked and we said that I wanted to go back in at a later point and make sure that any items that were being added to the cart are valid items, that they actually exist in the database. In order to do that, I'm going to be modifying our products object. So right here, above the creation of page elements and at the end of the getInCategory method, I'm going to add a new method. This one's going to be public function product exists. And we're going to pass in the ID of the product and double check the database and make sure it actually exists within the database. So let's do our documentation. So this checks to ensure that product exists. For parameters, it accepts an int, and for return type, it's a boolean. It's going to return true or false, does this product exist? Within this method, we have to do a database query. We're going to do if stmt for a prepared statement, if stmt equals this, database prepare. And we're going to select the ID from this DB table where ID equals question mark. And within the if statement, we're going to continue our prepared statement. So stmt, we're going to bind parameters. And the first one is I, since it's an integer, and we're passing an ID. And ID will replace this question mark and make sure it's added in this query in a safe manner that won't accidentally cause SQL injection. So after that, stmt execute. So we're going to execute the prepared statement. We're going to store the result. And then if we have results to display, stmt bind result. And we'll bind any results in the ID variable. Then stmt fetch to get the first row from the results. So if stmt numRows is larger than 0, if there are results from this query, we know that the product does exist. So we're going to close our statement like so and return true. If for some reason the stmt numRows is less than 0, or equal to 0 in this case, we're going to close the statement and return false. Like so. So all we have to do now is go back to our cart.php page and add in a couple lines of PHP to double check this. So we're going to do if not, so we're going to check, does the product not exist? So product exists, and we're going to check the get ID. So if this product doesn't exist, we want to set an alert. And I'm going to say invalid item. And then I want to redirect them back to the cart page. Like so. So let's take a preview, make sure everything's working as I expect it to. So let's make sure we can add an item to the cart. Looks like I missed something. Let me check that. And that's because it needs to be products with an S, not just product. There we go. So an item has been successfully added to the cart. Looks like we can clear an item successfully. And let's check ID. Let's try 99 because we know that doesn't exist. And you'll note that we get an invalid item message. So that's it for this video. Join me in the next one, and I'll be talking about how to use PHP to actually automate this process and to show the actual items that are in the cart within this section of the page.